do exactly that. They'll do a bar for you, to your formula with your label on it. And the runs, in terms of production runs, are very nominal. Like 100 bars, would not be unusual.
And you could use it for fundraising for
records and find out who those people are. I think I saw one last fall at the Expo Natural Show in Baltimore, and I'm pretty sure I could come up with that information. But that's really interesting, Steve. I think you're really onto something there. And good for you that you've actually done some real live testing, because that's the one thing that you really don't know until you actually get out into the community and get some feedback as to how the thing's going to be received and what's important to people.
Well, I just go to the Thompsons because now I'm an entrepreneurial teacher. I've got my own app, and now I'm moving into my own nutritional bar.
Good for you. Yeah, no, I think it's dynamic, and it's got to be inspirational to your students when they see someone such as yourself that is kind of willing to go out and break the mold, and whether it be in the classroom or out of the classroom, and then it's not just the world of academia, it's also the world of commerce and how you relate to that, and how you can actually push back some of the big corporate agendas for the holy trinity of the salt, fat, and sugar. That as an individual, you can actually do something.
There we go.
So it's very empowering. I think it's a wonderful story, quite frankly.
Well, and it's pretty frightening to some teachers who think, is that what I'm expected to do? And, basically, get out of the textbook and instead try to
get out of their comfort level, which I think is a real problem for many, many people in that world where they're encouraged to just follow down the track and not veer to the right or the left, and just, gets very bland, I think, and very dull and boring to the students, too, to see someone who's a career teacher that's, repeated the same curriculum for decades without being innovative and reaching out to students and developing new ways of looking at material.
Particularly if you then analyze and say, I'm working at a charter school without the protection of a union, I'm working for 20% less than the people who have the union contract, and look at all the other things that I'm bringing into the classroom. So now we start looking at, if you're a brave teacher, do you move closer to your students who will also not, in general, have the protection of a union contract?
Right. Well, it's going to be scary too, and I think you do hear and read about this of conventional teachers, shall we say, or in the traditional school system, feeling very threatened and apprehensive about not only charter schools, but just teachers that are not willing to kind of go along with the accepted norm. And all of this at a time when funding has become critically scarce for many school districts. I read the other day that in Orange County, where I live, there are more school districts in Orange County than in the entire state of Virginia.
Right, because there's been some consolidations. In many southern states, they consolidate.
Yeah. I mean, how many school superintendents and assistants to superintendents and director of curriculum and assistant to assistant do you need at the time when you're slashing, music and the arts and various essential programs in the curriculum to support the bureaucratic overhead? It just flies in the face of logic. And of course, we look at the local budget here, which is coming up for review and passage, and there's like $2 million shortage, and so the answer is to go out and close another primary school. It's just very distressing whether or not you have children in the system or not. because this is the next generation that's going to be supporting us in our old age, and you would want them to be as bright, well-prepared, and productive as they possibly can be.
May I stand in support of small districts and provide you a contrary view? There is a very big disconnect between the principal of a school of 800 students versus having 5 principals each watching over 130 students. So that's the model that Dennis Littke comes from. He basically gets rid of the security because the principal and the 5 teachers on campus of a small school are the security system. They know all of the parents and all of the students because 130 students, you can learn the names of every student and the 2 or 3 adults associated with each student. And so in a Littke school, the typical day has the principal sitting at the entrance watching people come in. And so there is no security on campus. And you know instantly whether someone's supposed to be there or not. Contrast this with the typical large high school, large elementary school, large middle school, and you've got SRO. I think it's a resource officer. It's a wonderful name. Oh, we have a resource officer. It's basically a security guard. He's got the handcuffs. He's got the walkie-talkie. They've got 4 ways that somebody could jump the fence. So they got to have a perimeter guy. They got all sorts of cameras left and right. It's funny when you go from a small school to a large school, you suddenly see the difference. Because now, is it so easy for the parents to walk on campus? No, because they're all treated the same. Whereas in a small school,
But Steve, this is